The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Burkeen, brought to you by Harvey Autos in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you've trusted for years. Geico, the insurance savings you expect. Supreme Chevrolet, expect more from Supreme Automotive Group and Gonzalez. Total Car Care, tire shop and automotive repair in Baton Rouge. Bollinger Shipyards, 75 years of delivering high-quality vessels. Here's your host, Lee Burkeen.
Hi everyone, this is Lee Burkeen, the host of the Sports Scouting Report podcast. Hope everybody had a great Christmas and New Year's since this show came out. This is part two of All Louisiana South Offense, the All Louisiana team by Lee Burkeen, the first team, All Louisiana team for seniors only from this past year, from the class of 224 kids. Our first show, we went over running backs, quarterbacks, different positions. The second show, we're going to go over offensive line, tight ends, athletes, and kickers, and fullbacks. So this is part two of the All Louisiana South Offense, and for the whole state of Louisiana, for South Louisiana, which is comprised of New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Houma-Lafourche, St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, everything south, Lake Charles, everything south of Alexandria. We'll be right back in just a moment to go over the top players in the state, continuing on with the All Louisiana South offensive team. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Lee Burkeen, your host. We're going to go ahead and get started. Please remember to subscribe up top, like and share, help our show grow, and please tell other people. If you're a parent, please subscribe so you can get future shows about high school football in Louisiana. We're going to do North Louisiana, All Louisiana team next week, but we're going to do it in pieces. We're doing South first, and then we'll do North Louisiana. Next week, we'll do offense and defense for North Louisiana. Let's go ahead and continue on for South Louisiana offense. The athlete position, which is tons in Louisiana, some of the best in the country. We're going to start with Raji Dennis from Edna Carr on the screen. Raji's 6 foot 180, runs a 4.39 40, runs a 10.4 100 meters in track. He'll run track in college. Phenomenal player from Edna Carr. Next is the great athlete Michael Turner, who signed with LSU. 6'1", 170, played free safety this year for Curtis and receiver. And I tell you what, he looked great at both positions. LSU needs free safeties, but I tell you, this guy can play both equally. He's long, he's fast, he's tough. He's a little heavier than what I think LSU listed the other day at 155. He's pushing 170. He should be about 180 come fall for his freshman season. Jashawn Johnson from Franklin High School played quarterback and played receiver and DB. He's a great player, one of the best I saw this year in South Louisiana. The next player is Kelby Hippolyte, who is at Breaux Bridge, was a quarterback. What an incredible football player this kid is, 5'10", 180. Kelby, is phenomenal, and I think he can play corner, running back, cornerback, or strong safety. He can play all over the football field. Very tough, fast, and a big-time leader. The next kid is Luke Wisham from Zachary High School. Luke had a phenomenal senior year as a free safety, strong safety, was a receiver his junior year. But Luke was so good this year at free safety, strong safety, the Zachary coaches thought he was one of their top players this year. I think he's one of the best to come out in the last 5 years from that program, which says a lot. They've had some great players come out of Zachary. Luke Wisham is 6'2", 195 and growing, and he's going to be a steal for somebody. Continuing on at Beau Chene, right outside of Opelousas High School there, you got Matthew Mayfield, 6'3", 188, played receiver, played free safety, played strong safety, very fluid, very gifted. Signed with Mississippi State, Starksville, is going to have a great career there. Next is one of the smallest players in the state that you'll see me have on the list, but he earned it, and I still think he's D1, out of Karen Crow High School, Kashmir Baptiste. 5'6", 165, if he's even 165, runs a 4.45 in the 40, benches over 300 pounds. And if you watch Karen Crow play the last 2 years, especially this year, he carried the team on his back in 5A with the same 14 starters on both sides of the ball, basically. This kid played linebacker along with running back, had over almost 2,000 yards rushing. He's a phenomenal football player. I know he's not very big, but I know college is going to take a chance on him and give him a shot. I would. Continuing on at Covington High School in the North Shore, Justin Chapman I've watched for 4 years. Played running back. He can play linebacker, safety, can play receiver. He's done it all for Covington. 4'5" guy, can run. He's got power. 5'10", 180. Remember the name Justin Chapman. Continuing on, Tyson Camel from McKinley High School was the quarterback this year. Phenomenal player. Runs a legitimate 4.4 in the 40. People don't talk about this kid Tyson, but I'm telling you, I've seen him play in person. He's magic with the football. I think he'd be a great slot receiver in college or a cornerback because he can run as good as anybody in Louisiana. Continued on with the athlete position, there's Damian Blocker from Central High School. You know, Central had one of their best seasons ever in a long time anyway, since the 70s. But Damian Blocker, who's 6', 190, was a running back for the team. I saw him as a freshman and sophomore at St. Michael's where he played. Transferred to Central his last 2 years, was one of their top guys. I mean, if they didn't have Damian Blocker, they wouldn't have had the year they had this year. He was their offense. He was their run game. And the kid played receiver and quarterback at St. Michael's prior to going to Central. But he's a running back this senior year. He could play a number of positions for college football. Continuing on at Central Catholic High School in Morgan City, Tylen Holland, 6'1", 175. Tylen has been a great player for the program for 3 years. Played receiver, played quarterback, played DB. I think he could play all over the football field. I think he's a corner or a strong safety or receiver for college. Runs a legitimate 4.5 in the 40. And one more player for the athlete position is Trey Grogan, Trae Grogan from Lafayette Christian. Played wide receiver at 6'2", 205 pounds, carries it well. You might say Lee's going to be a tight end. He's going to grow into a tight end. Well, he might do that, but I think he can stay at receiver or he could move to linebacker or be a tight end in the end. He's got great hands. He's not a burner, but he runs a 4.6 for a guy 205, and that's pretty good when you're 6'2", pushing almost 210 in high school football. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about 2 more guys at the athlete position and also tight ends. We're going to talk about tight ends and offensive linemen that we still have left to talk about. We'll be right back. And welcome back, everybody. I hope you're enjoying the show. A lot of information to digest here for the All-Louisiana team for 223. Lieber Keen's All-Louisiana team, South Louisiana Offense Part 2. Let's continue on with the athlete position. We have Braden Williams from St. James High School, 6', 195, played quarterback for St. James for 4 years. Remember, that's where Corey Webster played quarterback at one time and went to LSU and switched to corner. So they're known for converting their quarterbacks to other positions in college. Braden's a heck of a football player. One more player at the athlete position, Matthew Higginbotham from Lake Charles College Prep. The fastest human being I saw this year in Louisiana. There's a lot of guys that can run 4.4. Well, and I say a lot of guys, but the guys that do run 4.4, they sometimes don't look it. This kid looks like he runs a 4 flat. He's so fast. He looks like Trendon Holiday, who played at LSU and played at Northeast way back. But Matthew's not a big guy, 5'10", 155 pounds, played running back and receiver. He could be any of those in college. I'm telling you, he's one of the best I've seen. He's not ranked. You hadn't heard about him nationally, but he is a phenomenal football player. Let's go to tight ends. Talk about tight ends on the screen. Travell Frederick at Genneret's, signed with Houston, was committed to Tulane. A great blocker, the best blocker that I saw in the state out of all tight ends. He blocks like a college tight end, 6'4", 235. Jackson Landry from the Ascension Catholic, baseball player that decided to come out for football still his senior year. A big guy, pushing 6'5", can run. More of a blocker right now, but could be a good pass catcher in college if he chooses football over baseball. Trudez Green, the #1 tight end, on paper, well-deserving at Zachary High School, was at East Feliciana. 6'6.5", 230 pounds, 235. Will probably play at 240 at LSU. Runs a 4.6 40 and has great hands. And what I like at Zachary, he learned how to run polished routes, which you got to know that to be a tight end right away in college. He's got the hands, the routes, he can run. This guy's a freak. Trudez is also a great human being, a great kid. I think he'll play right away at LSU, even though LSU's deep at tight end. LSU's got great tight ends right now, but he's still going to play a lot because he's just so good. Cody Luke, Bruley High School, one of the best blocking tight ends I've seen in the state. Again, 6'2", 245, very polished. When he gets his hands on you, it is a takedown. He's a very, very tough kid. A lot of people in his family from Thibodaux that play college sports. Cameron Cyprian from Karen Crow, the most gifted tight end, under 6'4" in the state. Played running back for Karen Crow. He was so good this year. 6'3", 225, runs a legitimate 4.6. He probably can run lower than that. I thought he was an SEC player. The LSUs of the world, the Alabamas, did not offer him, but whoever gets Cameron is going to get a phenomenal football player. Herbert Solis Jr. from St. Augustine High School in New Orleans, the Purple Knights, 6'4", 235. You don't hear a lot about him because they don't throw the ball to the tight end a lot. They got 5 D1 receivers and a couple of D1 running backs. You kind of get lost in the shuffle there, but Herbert will catch more passes in college than he caught in high school. Very gifted. Continuing on, Aiden Wilkinson, a tight end from Central. Big guy that can run. His junior year was about 215. He got up to 230 this year for his senior year. He's got great hands and actually very polished for his senior year. I think he's going to play right away in college. Dylan DeSherry, another kid out of the Baton Rouge area at Dutchtown High School. Legitimate 6'5", 230 pounds. They don't throw the ball to the tight end very much, but again, he'll catch more passes in college than he did in high school, but he became a great blocker at Dutchtown, and he has soft hands and he can run. Jaden Aswell played a little DN at DeRitter and tight end. Jaden is 6'4", 249. A great blocker, will become an all-around tight end in college. There's a big list of tight ends. Continuing on, Will Lorazel from Newman in New Orleans. You've heard of the Mannings and all their talent, Odell Beckham, but Will is a guy that's 6'6", 255, could grow into lineman or could stay at tight end. His mom and dad both played D1 sports in college. Luke Guillory is the biggest sleeper to me in the state at tight end from Iowa. This kid runs a 4.7 40 at 245 pounds, 6'3", and has great hands like a receiver. I've seen it on film, play after play with him. He's going to Air Force. He signed with Air Force. They're getting a great one. Bryson Taylor from Abramson, 6'4", 265. Big guy, looks like a lineman, but moves like a tight end out of the New Orleans area. Late bloomer. And last, at tight end, Matt Gower from St. Paul's High School, 6'4", 230. One of the best tight ends I've seen to ever come out of school. They've had several big 6'4" tight ends come out of that school over the years. I've helped some of those guys over the years, but Matt is a very polished blocker, and he's a very good receiver. He'll catch more passes in college than in high school. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about fullbacks and the offensive line for the All-Louisiana South team for 2023, the season that just passed. Seniors only. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Lee Burkeen with Louisiana Football Magazine and the Sports Scouting Report podcast, our All-Louisiana team. This is part 2 of our offense. We're going over the offense for Louisiana. South Louisiana. Next week we'll do North Louisiana. Be sure to hit the subscribe button up top to help us grow so you can get all the shows that are coming up. If you like high school football, we do a little bit of college every now and then, and like it, and please share it with friends. But please subscribe to help us grow. We're going to continue on with the offensive line. Let's talk about tackles Henry Bell from Madison Prep in Baton Rouge. I've watched for 4 years, 6'4", 320. Mean kid, good feet, could play guard too. Jude Foster, another lineman from Baton Rouge, Southern Lab High School. Jude signed with Ole Miss, 6'5", 310. Very gifted, long kid, still growing, still getting better. Lawson Champagne out of Covington, 6'5", 265. His dad, Trey, played offensive tackle at LSU. Trey, his dad, is 6'8". So Lawson's got a little growing left at 6'5". Might end up being the same height as his dad when it's said and done. Cavion Broussard was committed to Miami Hurricanes, but signed with Ole Miss out of Zachary High School. 6'6", 280, carries it well, very lean, meaning he can weigh up to about 320 easily when he gets to Ole Miss. He'll be a good one. He's very smart and hard worker. Continuing on, Jeremiah Holtz from Vinton High School, right outside of Lake Charles, 6'6", 265. I remember when Jeremiah was only 210 pounds, 6'4" as a freshman, and he had good feet then. He's a diamond in the rough, people. A steal for someone as an offensive lineman. Go to guards and centers. Joseph Milton from Opelousas High School. Joseph is one of the main reasons Opelousas High School won a state championship, their only state championship in the history of school this past year. He's a true center, 6'1", 295, great feet, leader, and aggressive and strong. He's a guy you want. Plug him in right away as a freshman at center. Another kid, Raymond Howard, very similar to Milton, Archbishop Shaw, 6'2", 285, signed with Air Force. Great feet, smart kid, can pull, can do it all. Could be a center, could be a guard. Another player at guard is Kyrie Lee, signed with LSU from John Ehret High School, 6'5", 332 of muscle. He was 370, lost all the weight, and now he's lean, believe it or not. You ever seen a guy lean at 332? I actually think he could be a defensive nose guard for LSU if they give him a chance. I see it in him because his feet are that good, and he's that strong to be a nose guard in college. Jackson Ducree from Brother Martin in the Catholic League, very gifted lineman. I think he's very polished, 6'2", about 280, can run under a 5 flat and a 40. Very, very mean kid, very good with his hands and his feet. I think he could be a center or a guard in college. Bryce Godfrey from John Curtis High School. His dad played college football. His dad's a coach at John Curtis. Bryce is 6'3", 285, 290, with good feet, smart, knows the game, a legitimate center or a guard at the next level out of John Curtis. Caden Arnold from St. Paul's, 6'4", 6'3", 280 pounds. He's got good feet, good hands, a very strong kid, can pull. Jace Mitchell from Destrehan High School showed me a lot. A very lean guy for 285, 6'4", can move, guard or tackle in college. Andrew Richard from Central High School, my old high school. The best center in the state, the best lineman that I think nobody offered in the Power 5 conferences. Andrew is a phenomenal talent. He's strong, he's big, he's one of the main reasons that they made it deep into the playoffs this year at Central High. But Andrew, I think, is going to have a chance to play pro football one day because he's strong like a college senior right now as a high school kid. Continuing on, Jackson Hammond, speaking of strong, from Acadiana High School, 6'1", 280. How many kids do you know max at 430 pounds in the bench press in high school? You don't hear anybody doing 400. He did 430 this past summer. One of the strongest kids in the United States, Jackson Hammond. And another kid, Ryan Fobbs from ERAS, 6'4", 310, four-year starter, tough kid, a mauler, straight-ahead blocker that can take everybody backwards, not shy to do it too, and he's going to be a guy ready to play right away. One more kid on the O-line, another center, Ashton Hellier from St. Thomas More in Lafayette, 6'3", 325, great feet, great hands, can pull, has pulled a lot in high school, and runs a very complicated offense. He can do the shotgun, he can do under center with the quarterback. Jackson's polished, ready to be a starter at college day one, wherever he goes. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about kickers, and we still have fullbacks to talk about part two of South Louisiana's offense. We'll be right back. Hi everyone, Lee Burkeen, your host. Welcome back. We're going to continue on with the All Louisiana Team South offense part two. Fullbacks. You don't really see a lot of true fullbacks in high school football. You see a lot of guys they plug in that play O-line or D-line or linebacker or tight end. They just put them in a power I. They're not really true fullbacks. And you see some of these guys, and some of them they look the part, like, wow, that guy's just starting to play fullback, but that looks like a college prospect fullback. So I came up with a list of fullbacks that most of these guys play other positions for their team, mostly O or D linemen. But let's start with Javon Brown. He was actually a running back for Catholic of New Iberia, but he's 6 foot, 240 pounds of muscle, and it's like trying to tackle a Mack truck. This guy has been a 3-year starter. He's built like a college senior, but in college I think he'll be a great fullback. He could play DN or linebacker, but he's made for fullback if somebody gives him a chance to do that. Continuing on, Jeffrey Dietrich from E.D. White in Thibodaux, 6 foot, 215 pounds, phenomenal blocker. Seth Bishop from Denham Springs, 6'1", 215, was mostly a tight end for them, but he's really a fullback, very good polished blocker, knows how to use his shoulder pads, his hands, very tough. Brock Briggs, 1-year guy that I saw this year from Parkview Baptist, plays DN mostly, but comes in to block. I think Brock could be a D1 fullback, 6 foot, 230. He's a battering ram, guys. When he blocks, he gets people out the way. Another one that's played D-line, O-line, that came in to play fullback a lot in the game for Franklin High School around around Lafayette. Adric Davis, 6'2", 240, chiseled. This guy, man, he can block. And another one like that I saw that came in from the D-line that played fullback for his team when they needed him at White Castle, Jamon Miller. 6 foot, 240. Oh my goodness, this guy. He clears people out. And not just block, but I mean, when they put their hands on you, it's a pancake. Pancake is flat than another player. And these are the guys that if you're a college coach, take a look at them, look at their film, look at those times they come in and play fullback from their starting positions, and you'll see what I'm seeing on the football field. We're going to take a quick break, have one more segment. We're going to go over kickers, and that'll be the rest of our All Louisiana Team Part 2. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Lee Burkeen. This is our final segment for our All Louisiana Team for Offense, South Louisiana, Class of 224, kickers. It's hard to find kickers who can do it all. Kick off in the end zone, kick off for distance, and also intermediate, make those pressure kicks. And high school coaches don't like to kick a lot of field goals, actually. In the NFL and college, on 4th and 1, if it's on the 30, they usually kick a field goal, unless it's Lane Kiffin. But if you're in high school, they usually won't kick the field goal unless it's on the 20 or like inside the 20-yard line. That's the safe zone. But here are some guys that can go from the 30, 35-yard line, and they can also kick off and do all of it really well. Some of them can punt. Let's start with Trey Fury from Belle Chase High School, a D1 punter and a D1 kicker, 6 foot, 185. When he punts it, it looks like it's out of a ball machine. When he kicks, he makes all the intermediates, and he's got a strong leg. Next is Andre Perry from Highland Baptist, a small school outside of New Iberia. Great leg. The ball's in the end zone most of the time on kickoffs. Landon Langley from Kinder High School, 6'1", 170, close to the Lake Charles area. Landon's got a cannon leg, has been doing it for a long time. And last, our kicker for South Louisiana, senior Landon Doggerdrill from St. Louis High School, 5'10", 170, cannon leg, automatic with extra points, has distance, intermediate. St. Louis is known for producing kickers, and Landon is one heck of a kicker. And he's a sleeper. I think he's good enough to go to LSU as a walk-on, or go to Louisiana Tech as a walk-on, or UL. in Tulane and start and win a job like a lot of these guys do. They walk on if they can't get a scholarship, and they win a job and they're on scholarship within a year. So I hope you enjoyed the offense for South Louisiana Part 2. Our next show, our next two shows, will be our All Louisiana Defense Part 1 and Part 2 that you'll be able to see in the future really soon. And I hope you enjoyed the offense for South. Next week, the following week after we finish with all South Louisiana teams, we're going to do our North Louisiana teams for Monroe, West Monroe, Shreveport, Bossier, Faraday, Vidalia, Natchitoches, everything North Louisiana, Alexandria, Louisiana. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope the high school coaches enjoyed it, the kids enjoyed it, and these kids deserve to be promoted and help them as much as we can. We'll see everybody soon. Again, don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you real soon with our next show. Thank you.
Thanks for watching the Sports Scouting Report with Lieber King.